Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Trader with me, Agathus. Let's do some trading and then set out for the next system. Mechanicus is close to rank 11. I'm excited for the Power X. Oh, we still need a little bit of profit factor. Son of a gun. We can get a couple points if we go back to Footfall and report to this guy. But I'm not going to do that yet. Nice. So we get 3 items from this guy. Repulsor Shield provides 80 points of protection for each sector. This amount is doubled against enemy kinetic attacks. So that's a direct upgrade from the Glimmer pattern, depending on which enemy you're fighting. An extra 10 points of protection on each side is very valuable. The Military Ceramite Void Ship Plating. Ceramite plating protects the vessel from harm, negating 5 points of damage on each side. That's a direct upgrade to what we have. And a Griffin Pattern Torpedo Tube. Torpedo tubes capable of firing 5 plasma torpedoes with 19 damage warheads. Another direct upgrade. Okay, we'll apply our Void Ship upgrades and then set out. So, new shield. This was our first one. Yeah, so the repulsor shield would be a straight upgrade from our original shield as well. You could make an argument against the Glimmer Pattern Void Shield. But either way, this one's better. And some new armor. And new torpedo. Oh, we have 2 of those. But you can't fire both in the same turn. Or at least you can't fire 2 lance weapons in the same turn. I wonder what happens if you have 2 torpedo tubes equipped and use that ultimate ability, all hands on deck. Now, either way, you only have the 3 spawn points in front of you, so I guess it wouldn't matter. Alright, to Agathus, Archidies. That night, Lord Captain and some of his crew are awakened by beautiful music. The sound seemed to caress their very minds, until they realized that the source was their own bodies. While their teeth were chattering out a staccato, their tendons were being plucked like strings by unseen hands, and invisible breaths flowed through their bones, turning them into mournful flutes. The illusion ended, but for a long time afterward, every movement made their hearts stutter in fear. Was the orchestra about to strike up once more? The Immaterium released us from its grip, this time. We'll save the void ship remains and the Hulk for last. Well, maybe not. Remains are typically just the item we pick up. Not this time. Lord Captain, the augurs cannot determine who the ship we approach belongs to, but the telemetry clearly reveals it is an Imperium vessel. The hull is badly damaged, but there is still air in some of the chambers, which means they are hermetically sealed. What are your orders concerning the discovery? I guess we'll board it. I send out the order to prepare my troops for boarding. I'll personally take part in the exploratory expedition. Alright, region, Cineris Maleficum, or Maleficum. Location, Agathus, Archidies. Material, extract from unofficial news sheet, window on the bridge. Distributed on the middle decks. Recorded by unknown. Note, the veracity of the recounted events is questionable. We who walk down the same passageways and the same bays day after day, we who are born, live and die to the hum of the ship's machines. We forever hunger for the smallest glimpse of another life, and for a chance to see the heroes who tirelessly fight for us, and for the glory of the Imperium. So let's have a tale about the Lord Captain, by the will of the Emperor, the Guardian, and Commander, of every good and honest soul upon this void ship, and the time he boarded a vessel named the Fireborn. Like a dead whale cast ashore by the inexorable force of the swell, the wrecked vessel was a confronting sight for its unwitting visitors. Some bays still retained an atmosphere, but there was no life anywhere. The ship was dead, its machine spirits dissipated in the darkness of space. It was just the husk left, and the rogue trader's crew were to become scavengers swarming the carcass of a fallen Leviathan. Our Lord Captain oversaw the expedition personally. He decided to train the penetrating gaze of the augur arrays on the damaged ship. The augur's keen eyes scanned the eerie vessel, identifying that the void ship was gravely damaged and was in the process of final erosion. There's very little time to explore it. Three sectors seemed the least damaged: the bridge, the middle crew deck, and the service bay. After exchanging a series of trills and warbles in their mysterious and ancient language, the tech priest responsible for the augurs reported to the Lord Captain that they had glimpsed signs of valuable components in operation in the service bay. The Lord Captain's next step was to turn his attention to the scout units awaiting instructions. The Lord Captain had to decide which of the three teams he would lead, and which two would be entrusted to their officers. Let here be known the names of those honest people who stood before our rogue trader in that moment. The taciturn and grave young Ho Son, whose word was as firm as his handshake. Captain Vesti, whose jokes will be remembered by everyone on deck 3 to 5. Captain Matina, the senior officer of the 3rd Unit, known to many as Grey Matina, which had been leading units back when the current crop of scouts were snot-nosed kids. No one on deck was in any doubt that navigating inside the wrecked ship would be difficult. The units would be separated by kilometers of twisted metal, dead modules devoid of atmosphere, collapsed passageways, and hull breaches the size of a house. The only thing connecting the brave teams would be the delicate thread of a Vox link. And so, after weighing up the options, the Lord Captain chose to go with... I'm going to go with the jokester. The senior officer has a good chance of succeeding by themselves. And it sounds like a young Ho Son could do the same thing. So I'm going to go with Captain Vesti to keep him on track. Captain Vesti and his unit, who were set to explore the crew decks. From here on, we'll relate the events based on what we have learned from witnesses, the people who accompanied the Lord Captain on the tour of the dread ship. The shuttle started up one after another and dispersed, each heading for its selected target. An hour spent on cutting through the hull and the freezing vacuum of space, a fussy boarding, and then finally, the rogue trader stepped onto the cold, hard, dark deck of the dead ship. The light of the torches revealed a sign in the gloom: Fireborn. After a minute-long exchange with the Voxmaster, who quickly checked the archives, it was established that the dead vessel was that of Captain Nova Van Dane, registered at Kiava Gamma Port. The irrepressible Captain Vesti offered up a brief prayer for a favorable outcome to the expedition. We will leave this place a little richer than when we arrived. For rich men are joyous men, and an honest man's joy makes heretics and chaos cultists weep. The Lord Captain reprimanded the commander for his inappropriate flippancy, and they ventured deeper into the ship. I'm a commissar. This is no time to joke. Though, normally I would appreciate lightheartedness in any situation, really. A sound crackled from the Vox speakers, and a light on the casing switched on, signaling a message coming in on the first unit's frequency. Commander Young Ho Son calmly reported that his unit was making satisfactory progress toward the ship's bridge. After several hours spent exploring the ship, the Lord Captain's unit came up against an obstacle. The middle deck's arsenal and storage depot were somewhere nearby, but this section of the ship had suffered serious damage. Fragments of cables were sparking everywhere, clearly still electrified. Moving any further could be very dangerous. The Lord Captain decided to ask Abelard, who is well versed in the layout of Imperial ships, to plot a possible route around the perilous section. With the assistance of Abelard Versarian, who is familiar with the configuration of many Imperial ships, the Lord Captain devised a route around the dangerous section. The detour added 2 hours to the journey, but it was worth the effort. The storage depot, when the scouts finally reached it, was full of intact cargo. The voice of Young Ho Son reached the Lord Captain's ears once again. The first unit's captain soberly reported that his people were proceeding to the bridge. The ensuing deathly silence alerted the Lord Captain that something was wrong. Following the gazes of his team, he saw that the unit's dispatcher, who was carrying the large Voxcaster with the antennae and transmitter, was lagging far behind the rest of the group, and the transmission indicator was dark. There were no incoming messages. Even if there had been, Son's voice couldn't have sounded so close, as if the dispatcher or Son himself were standing right next to the rogue trader. Son here. Unit 1 proceeding to the bridge, said the voice again. Now it seemed to be coming from all sides, drawing in from the left and the right, from under the deck, and even from somewhere among the mess of cables overhead. Yeah, we'll have to go with willpower, I think. Oh, we can use our companions still. The Lord Captain summoned all his willpower to resist the illusion. The Lord Captain managed not only to maintain his self-control, but also to keep the terrified unit from veering into outright panic. Led by the rogue trader, the scouts hurriedly retreated to the shuttle, pursued by their comrade's disembodied voice, which continued to repeat the same brief message. A message came in from the unit led by the seasoned, unflappable Grey Matina. The captain methodically reported on all the service-based sections her team had already examined. They had found nothing of value. They had found no bodies. There had been no incidents, and the search was proceeding as normal. The unit was waiting for further instructions from the Lord Captain. After distilling the salient points from Grey Matina's exhaustive report, Donald listed the areas that warranted a more thorough search. After returning to the shuttle, Donald received reports about Fireborn's status. The tech priests who relentlessly pierced the wreckage with the auger gaze insisted on curtailing the operation as soon as possible, fearing imminent destruction. There were also reports from the other 2 units. Grey Matina's unit had explored the service bay without incident and not wasting any time, had marked valuable components for later disassembly and transfer to the rogue trader's ship. Augers in the Vox system proved equally useless. The first unit, which had been exploring the bridge, had vanished without a trace, almost as if the dead ship had swallowed them whole. The scouts and their commander, Young Ho Son, had simply disappeared, joining the thousands of crew members lost aboard the Fireborn. So if we went with him, I wonder what happens with the Vesti unit. Maybe they still suffer the same illusion, but his lightheartedness is able to keep everybody on track and prevent them from panicking. By the way, we got a few ancient cogitator cores, universal power cells, bottles of extravagant perfume, and some experience. The units assembled at the shuttles, and the Lord Captain gave the final order of this grim expedition. Holding a service is the most dogmatic option, but I also want to blow it up. Maybe we can do both. Hold a service for the fallen scouts. Led by Sister Argenta, the scouts built the funeral pyres. Old metal barrels and small shipping containers served as temple braziers. In the wavering but warm light illuminating their faces, the scouts listened as the sisters sang a prayer for the departed. Little by little, the listeners' terrified, wary gaze brightened. As they heard the sisters' words, understanding dawned on the survivors. Death dogged the footsteps of everyone, but there is a destiny higher than death. They should always remember that. That is the reason to keep going. Time was up. The scouting party returned to their ship. With one last look at the Fireborn, the rogue trader gave the order to fire upon the dead vessel at range, for that which was born in fire should also perish in fire. The rings. Giant rings on this planet's surface can be observed even from orbit. Examine the rings. It has emerged that this planet has a native species of giant insect similar to Terran ants. Just like ants, they sometimes form so-called death spirals, in which one creature follows another without realizing they're going in circles. These were the rings discovered by the ship's observers. A strange phenomenon that was originally suspected to be a sign of warp activity, or nefarious xenostructure turned out to be a quirk of nature, and a tragic one at that. So most wildlife species are extinct on Terra. It doesn't even have oceans anymore. Water and any sort of food product has to be imported from off-planet. I don't know that the everyday layperson would even know what an ant was. There's another animal that was mentioned in another bit of dialogue that I don't think that anyone would know about, except for some very specific scholars. But even then, a lot of the information's been lost. There was the Arkan Land as a cloned monkey, and there's debate on like the purpose of the monkey's tail. I think it's Land himself, or it could have been someone else that argued. No, it was Land. That the monkey's tail was a stinger, that it wasn't used for balance. I think someone else argued that it was for balance, and Arkan Land thought that was ridiculous, that it had to be a stinger. So his clone, the monkey, has a stinger on his tail. The augurs have detected wreckage in the void ship's vicinity, but the exact nature of this wreckage remains unclear. Look for the source of the wreckage. The Augur crew reports that it has registered no evidence of a disaster that could have produced such debris. Okay, well that's disappointing. So I guess back to Arcelio of Prophecy and up to Adermatt 2. The Medicae teams from the lower decks reported the appearance of a dense purple fog that causes people to develop mutant deformities. Short tentacles roughly the length of a pinky finger. Since the deformities do not interfere with the crew's performance, the Medicae are not certain whether this phenomenon should be a cause for concern, but the riffraff are already whispering of heresy. Exterminate the corrupted crew members. Oh wow, 43 damage. The corrupted are granted the Emperor's mercy, their bodies consigned to the purifying flame. At least their souls are safe from the Immaterium's treachery. So the damage to the ship, I guess, also represents the crew status. Adamantine. Ecologer's plot. There are sects in the Imperial cult whose adherents believe transgressors will be punished after death on burning planets. This world could serve as one such purgatory. Also, 7 Promethium. Right. A box notification from the Augur crew drowns out the usual noise on the bridge. An Imperial vessel, the Dark Piercer, and its escort ships are headed your way. The archives make no mention of either ship or its owner. As you consider your course of action, the ship's captain contacts you first. Introducing himself as the Pilgrim, the captain greets the rogue trader courteously and offers to purchase any information you might have on crystal phlogiston deposits. Ask why the captain calls himself the Pilgrim. The captain admits he has not always done the right thing in his life, but he once beheld the blessing of the Emperor himself, and has followed a special path of service to him ever since. That is the path he now treads as the Pilgrim. Ask why the Pilgrim needs phlogiston. The captain's coarse laughter echoes forth from the box. Phlogiston is a part and parcel of many different aspects of life in the Imperium. How exactly his customers are going to use it is none of his concern. All that the Pilgrim promises is that the phlogiston will be used for the good of humanity. Jai immediately remarks that someone without a name is not to be trusted. Deals with such people do not tend to end well. If she were you would first find out his secrets and then scrupulously remove him from the equation. Pascal becomes visibly animated at the mention of phlogiston. Though indifferent to the prospect of a deal with the shadowy individual, the Magos nonetheless recommends you find out more about phlogiston deposits. Your own protectorate would benefit from the knowledge. Sister Argenta sincerely believes the words of the Pilgrim. A cowl or a golden aquila are no prerequisites for being his true servant. If the captain sincerely wants to help the Imperium, perhaps by his own methods, there's nothing questionable about extending a helping hand. Ask what you receive in return. The Pilgrim has been exploring the Cronus Expanse for years, and knows many of its secrets. He promises to let you in on intriguing rumors that may be of interest to someone with your skills and capabilities. Tell him that this is not enough. It looks like the captain of the Dark Piercer is unsurprised by your reaction. He's willing to pay in gold and securities for any information on phlogiston. Propose a deal. Valuable information in exchange for granting the Pilgrim the right to mine phlogiston using the Von Valancius extractiums. The captain of the Dark Piercer is in the best of spirits. In gratitude for your invaluable help, he sends you a small box containing ancient maps and documents. They appear to speak of a certain Imperial world lost many centuries ago. Then, in a somewhat conspiratorial tone, the Pilgrim relates a story about a standoff between two Xenos fleets, which he was told by an acquaintance. The person in question, sadly enough, died at the hands of the Inquisition before they were able to pass on the coordinates for the crash site of one of the Xenos ships. However, Pilgrim knows for a fact that the vessel met its demise on an ocean world. Bid farewell to the Pilgrim and travel onward. Alright, so we got a couple new rumors, right? In the footsteps of history. The wandering trader calling himself the Pilgrim gave the rogue trader ancient Imperial documents as a token of thanks. The scrolls are to be believed. Around 2 centuries ago, at some crossing of paths in the Expanse, an entire Imperial world perished. And treasure in the ocean. Rumors have reached the rogue trader of a Xenos ship that was wrecked on one of the ocean worlds of the Cronus Expanse. So the one probably takes place in, at the crossroads of 1,000 Dreams? Is that what it's called? Something like that. So we can land here. Before we do that, though, I think we'll save that for next time. Let's head back to the crossroads. Well, let's double check that rumor real quick. So crossing of paths. Nebris Y and Porta Septentum. Oh, that's where Kiava Gamma is. Alright, let's head back here real quick. An unexpected report has arrived from the navigation chambers. A new path has revealed itself to the navigator and a mystical vision. According to the Omen, the void ship will be safer on this mysterious route. But can one trust the warp's revelations? Yeah, you may as well trust your navigator, right? Order to change course. I have to deal with it. Enemies of humanity board the void ship. Sorry, I tried to say board the board ship. At the head of the assault is an accursed traitor, a Chaos Space Marine, followed by enraged demons. The spawn have infiltrated the ship via the storage bay. It cannot be allowed to reach any populated decks, or else the death toll will be exorbitant. The rogue trader and his retinue will personally go and face these contemptible foes. Once again, they need to level up too. Alright, we'll see if it's the same fight as before with the Word Bearer and the Bloodthirsters. Or sorry, Blood Letters. Not Bloodthirsters. I don't know if we're ready to fight.
Oh, my ears are ringing.
Several
Always
Bloodthirsters.
Keep your eye on the prize.
Yep, same guys. Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and do it.
I will exterminate every last one of you.
The disgrace of Monarchia will be avenged.
Yes, I think all the Chaos Space Marines we've seen so far have been Word Bearers.
It will be done.
Running binary override. The scriptural prognosis is favorable.
Am I getting paid for this?
So I don't know how helpful Argenta's going to be here.
Don't get too cocky. Tell me, and it is done.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
Not too bad.
You've got a problem. I've got a prize.
On it. It's as good as done. Who, if not me? Let's see to it.
Good job, team. Also got the first blood letter.
I won't go down easy.
For the Dark Gods.
Just a minor setback.
For the throne's glory. But of course, Lord Captain.
I might try to bog him down, or bog the Chaos Space Marine down instead.
I won't object to it.
Doubt is for the weak. As the Emperor commands, I act. I'll do it. For you, my Emperor! Faith without deed.
Yeah, we'll do that. Happy with that turn.
Brace yourself, Abelard.
I have Abelard tank on this side for us.
Indeed. It will be done.
I think we take this guy out real quick. Or not.
My vow is to serve. Request approved. Running binaric override. High momentum.
Let's see to it.
Alright, big hit on this guy.
Nothing stands against me. Be gone.
Fantastic.
I can do that with the right incentive. Am I getting paid for this?
At your beck and call. I will do my...
High momentum.
Heck yeah. Let's not use this yet. Get off on that for just a moment. And it's just have line of sight on anybody, right? Because they're all the way back there. But we can reposition.
I'll see to it personally. I'll make it happen. You should feel honored to witness this. The Inquisition sends their regards.
All right.
Everyone, step aside. Naturally.
I was gonna hang tight and let them come to us.
Someone's death wish is mine to grant.
Alright, up to 34% crit chance. Pretty solid.
I'll do it.
Decent range on that. I should use Wildfire there. I got another free attack off.
I've seen worse battles than this in
Can he
my
charge
time.
that far? He can.
Indeed.
Not great.
I can do that with the right incentive.
The scriptural prognosis.
Oh, I didn't. That's fine. It all works out the same way.
Grey hair, sure hair.
Let's have Abelard take out this guy.
One fewer target.
For the throne's glory. I'll put my psychic abilities to use. I won't object to it. Holy terror, smite your enemies. Let's see to it. I'm done with this one.
Excellent job, Heinrichs.
Is there money to be made?
He's turning into an absolute monster.
I always have a backup plan.
Okay, back to the bridge. And next time we'll head back to the crossroads of 100 dreams, not 1,000 dreams. And see if we can find the source of that rumor. And then continue exploring. I am going to try to avoid the main quest systems for now. So the system that has Dargonus and the other system that has Kiava Gamma. And explore everything else first. Well, we'll see. I may explore everything around the Kiava Gamma system first, and then do Kiava Gamma, and then go and explore everything around the Dargonus system, and then do Dargonus. But either way for now, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.